Hey, welcome to the channel, you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new Feel Free Dorado 125 V2. So if you clicked on this video, you're probably considering making a purchase of the Feel Free Dorado. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a close look at everything it has to offer, and then I'm going to go through my pros and cons about this boat, why I think you should buy it, why I think you shouldn't buy this boat. At the end of it, I've had the opportunity to fish out of this particular kayak for the last month and a half, and I've able to figure out a lot of things that I like and don't like about it. So let's take a closer look at the Feel Free Dorado, and I'll show you all the options it has to offer in a fishing kayak. So real quick, let's talk about the specs before we dive in. The Feel Free Dorado V2 is 12 foot 10 inches long, 37 inches wide. It weighs 125 pounds without the seat and the pedal drive, and it has a weight capacity of 450 pounds. That's a lot of numbers all packed into one fishing kayak. So let's take a closer look at it. So just a quick look from the front moving back. This is the Feel Free Dorado 125 V2 in electric blue. Okay, this is the electric blue color. We're going to start at the back, make our way up. Here you have your beaver tail rudder system with the 8-ball steering handle right up front there to your left. You have a nice molded in handle here, as well as 2 screwed down carry handles. So plenty of options for either lifting it, picking it up and lifting it with a partner, or options for tying it down. Here you have the back tank well, which fits perfectly a 16 by 16 Black Pack Pro, or the 13 by 16 fits in there nice with a little extra room. You have an accessory rail on both sides, which that one there is a Yak Attack camera boom. That's where I mount my camera when I'm fishing. You have 2 flush mounted rod holders with the tethers, which I suggest using these because I've lost some gear and really wish I would have used them. They seem, it's kind of a weird thing, but I tell you what, I wish I would have been using them. Okay, so let's get into the battery box. Let's pull this bad boy out. So basically what it is, this kayak is wired from the bow to the stern. Okay, you plug the battery box into these 2 ports here and here. Your battery's in there, and I'm going to pull this battery box out for you. But that's how you power the kayak. Up to the front, which we'll get up there, and I'll show you. Up to the front, you have a hot wire for a fish finder, and you have pre-wired plug for the overdrive, power drive motor. This is a plug-and-play kayak right here. Speaking of which, let's unplug. And the battery box is removable. An even cooler option about this kayak with a scupper hole underneath, so any water that comes down from the bow to the back that doesn't go underneath the deck will find itself into that scupper hole, one way or the other. So here we have the removable battery box. You have a power button, on, off. So that kicks on these backlights. I haven't found a really good use for that yet. But what does work nice is when you plug this into the kayak, there's blue LED lights in your gunnels here, right and left side, which are really nice for night fishing, which I did the other night. And they're low profile. They're not super bright. They don't take away from your vision, but you got them here, 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 here. Both sides of the kayak, 4 lights total, I believe. Maybe 6 total. But you also have a USB port right here and a 12 volt, you know, your classic old cigarette lighter adapter here. So you've got power for days. And that's not even an understatement. So you open the battery box. It's got 2 latches, and in here I have a 12 volt 100 amp hour lithium battery made by Dakota Lithium. So I think your traditional lead acid car batteries will fit, but as you can see, I've still got a little bit of room here, which is perfect because the battery box is wired. It gives you a little room to customize it, maybe tuck them out, tuck them in, make it a little cleaner, whatever you choose to do. But it gives you a little play in case you ever need to get that battery out. This battery never leaves this box. What happens is, after a day or two of fishing, I take it right out of the kayak, unplug it, take it out of the kayak, and I put it on my lithium charger for when I'm ready to go again. This is a really cool option when it comes to fishing kayaks, that there's not many of them that have it. So we'll go ahead and button this back up and we'll carry on. And what's nice is this baby goes right here. It sets right there like that, and she latches down. It latches down right here. That keeps it in position. So moving forward, you have your standard issue feel-free gravity seat. What they did this time with the V2, rather than them straps that come over, you have this cam lock system right here, and that holds the seat. You know, you get a little bit of rock. You can adjust this, but you get a little bit of play, and that keeps it in position. What's also nice is that they've got their Uni-Track right here. You can mount your little cup holder right between your legs because the cup holders are way up here. Not in a really good, convenient spot. So you could mount one right here between your legs, or two. One for leftover baits, and then one for your ice cold beverage. The gravity seat comes with a pocket on each side. And it's as simple as pulling this lever up to bring it down, or lifting up on the seat to raise it. Right now it's in its highest position, and it leaves you room underneath. I mean, there's about 8 inches there underneath of play for extra tackle, dry bags, whatever. Here you have your molded in paddle holder. Got my paddle over there, but that's as simple as, I really like this little piece of Velcro they put here because that's movable, but it gives you something to grab to unleash your paddle or leash it down. Done. Here you have your rudder control, so that takes it, not control, but that's to raise and lower it right there, right off to your side. Just a little rope grab, boom, grabs it. Lower it, pull it up, done. Really slick, easy design. So moving forward, so now we've covered the back half of the boat. We're going to cover the front half. Here, the Feel-Free Dorado comes with the overdrive pedal drive system. Now, I've been running this pedal drive not only in the Dorado, but in my lure as well. And I got to say, this is a really unique, one of a kind pedal drive. But regardless, it's super smooth, super quiet, very functional and user friendly. Great. It's just a great all around pedal drive. I've had a few different pedal drives. The overdrive pedal drive is now my favorite. This is the overdrive motor. What normally goes in here is this container. It's a dry storage container that sits in there. This is an extra option. You have to buy this, but it is compatible, and this will power your kayak, and it will power it really well for those long runs on the lake. So that's the overdrive pedal system. It's as simple as sliding it in place, locking this Z bracket down, and you're in. This lowers down, and then these are your two locking mechanisms. Boom, goes into place, and you're done. So I'm going to give you guys a close look at how smooth this pedal drive is. So it's in the raised position. You're just going to lower it like that. Boom, boom, you're done. And now it's in freewheel because I have the motor engaged. So if you're motoring, the pedals do not spin. This is freewheel. That propeller isn't turning. And if you're done fishing, simple as pulling these two, raise it right back up, you're out, you're done, you're good. Okay, so another really cool feature about this kayak is right here. Now you can't see it, and I'm not going to flip the kayak over, but what happens is this pull cord is attached to a transducer mount, which is right there. You mount your transducer to the plate that comes with it. And this baby, you pull it up and unlatch it to let it down. And then you pull it back up and latch it just like your beaver tail rudder. You pull it back up and latch it to stow it. What's nice about it is that it's spring loaded. So even if you forgot you had it down and you bring it up on shore, that transducer is going to pop back up and recess into the hull of the kayak. This is one of the coolest features about this Feel Free Dorado is the transducer mount that is, like I said, you can lower it with the cable, raise it with the cable, but if you're like me and you forget sometimes that it's down, you run it up on shore, it's going to safely retract itself back up without damaging your transducer. You have another Unitrack. Coming up front looking back, beautiful shot of the kayak. You have a really nice molded in handle here, heavy duty. You've got another like mini tank well up here with bungees to, you know, maybe put a dry bag or a cooler or something if you're doing a long day out there. So what we're going to do now is take a look at this under here. Now don't mind the mess because I run a lot of electronics on my kayak, but what I'm going to tell you is you have one hot wire for a fish finder, and you have the wiring, which it's all tucked up under here, for your motor drive system. If you choose to go with the power drive, it's all pre-wired. You don't have to do anything. This cord right here is plug and play with the Feel Free Dorado. All you got to do is plug it into the brain, and you're done. But what's nice about this is if you're not like me and you're not tournament fishing and you don't have a bunch of electronics you're running, that's just more storage. So I really like that option. I really like the option for all my electronics and cables, and then I can just tuck it all in there and nice clean setup. So now what we're going to do is raise this back up because I'm going to go ahead and get out of the water, and we're going to finish this once over. So as you come around, the port side is no different than the starboard side, other than you have your 8-ball steering. You also have your pocket here. You know, you've got sidewall storage both sides. Again, my kayak's a mess. I had bug spray from night fishing, sunscreen from daytime fishing, but both sides you've got storage behind you, in front of you, a ton of storage, which isn't a good thing for me because I accumulate a lot of odds and ends and they always just find themselves in there. So back here you have your flush mount rod holders again. You have another Unitrack on this side and your drain plug. I'm going to explain why this is important. So there it is. I mean, that's just basically short and sweet of the Feel Free Dorado. One thing I like about it is the almost tri-hole type design on the front. It's flat in the back. So basically from the center back, it's primarily flat, but the bow has that tri-hull design, which is nice. Adds extra stability. Okay, so what I'd like to do is talk to you guys about the pros and the cons of this boat and why I think you should buy it and why I think you shouldn't buy it. Number one, the pro. We'll start with the pros. Number one, it's a super stable kayak. It's a big kayak, almost 13 feet long. If you're an avid angler like myself, if you're a tournament angler, I would suggest this kayak for you. It comes plug and play. I mean, it is basically ready to go, pre-wired, pedal drive. You can upgrade to get the motor drive. I mean, I've been fishing, again, a month and a half out of this thing, and this is by far my favorite fishing kayak. This is my 4th fishing kayak. This one right now is my favorite. Another pro is the removable battery box. The removable battery box is honestly a phenomenal design by Feel Free. The other battery box on the version 1 Dorado didn't have the removable. This is removable. That makes my life a lot easier because I do trailer this kayak, so I'm able to pull that out for safety. So if something were to happen, my battery doesn't get damaged, pop out of there. Another pro is the gravity seat. If you guys have ever fished out of a feel-free kayak, you're going to recognize this gravity seat. You're going to know what it's all about. It's super simple. This is how I like to operate it. Boom. Goes down if you want to sit down in the belly of the kayak. Raise it up. You're up and fishing. Pro number 3 is going to be the amount of storage. I've got sidewalls on both sides for storage. I've got extra bungees in the front. I've got the storage here. I've got the tank well in the back. I got storage under the seat. I got storage behind the seat. This thing comes with unlimited amount of storage, unlimited amount of rails on the sides. Essentially, you could rig this thing out like I do and still have plenty of room for extra odds and ends. It also has the wheel in the keel design, which the wheel in the keel is really great for the lure series of Feel Free or even the Moken. But for the Dorado, it's such a big kayak, I don't see myself ever using the wheel in the keel. It's a great design by Feel Free, but I don't think it's a necessity for the Dorado because a lot of people aren't taking this thing somewhere where you can't launch it at a boat launch. Okay, so let's get into the cons. The number one con about this boat is going to be in the hull. So what happens is, if you're in rough water, you're going to take some water over the bow. The bow rides a little bit low. So what happens is when you're hitting waves, you're going to take water on. It's going to come down to the back of the kayak, which it all drains really nice. But if it doesn't find its way, so what it is, there's one big scupper down here. There's one big scupper, and if that water doesn't find its way into that, it's going to get into the bottom of the kayak. And what's tough about that is where the drain plug is located at a high point, if you collect a bunch of water in here, it's kind of a pain. You know, you gotta pick it up, get it on a downhill, you gotta pick it up, turn it, and get the water to come out just right. Now, I've taken on a lot of water over the bow, but I haven't taken on a lot of water in the kayak itself. Like, it doesn't hold it. It's pretty good at finding its draining points, but if it doesn't, and you're on the water a lot, especially rough water like me, eventually you're going to have to get that drain plug open and drain it out. Con number 2 is this kayak is not something that you can just throw in the back of your truck. You have to trailer this thing. You could get the tailgate extender, but I'm telling you, man, this thing's 125 pounds empty, and it's never empty. I don't care if when you're loading it, unloading it, doing anything like that, this thing's always going to have something in it. And for one person to do all that, not only is it hard on your body, it's hard on the kayak. So I would suggest, if you're going to buy this kayak, I would look into an option for a trailer to be able to trailer this thing around. All I did was go on Marketplace. I picked up a jet ski trailer and customized it myself to be able to tow this bad boy around. I tell you what, the best decision I ever made for kayak fishing was buying a trailer for my kayak, because that makes life so much easier. I would highly suggest purchasing this kayak. Again, this is an unsolicited review. I bought this kayak. This kayak wasn't given to me for purposes of the review. This is my personal fishing kayak. So I would recommend you guys buy this kayak if you're into serious kayak fishing. If you're into tournament angling or you're out on the water a few times a week, this is a kayak for you. The price point is right around $3,000, just over. I'm going to drop a plethora of videos about how I rig my kayak for fishing and tournament fishing, thought processes and pre-tournament process for kayak fishing. I'm going to do a full review on the overdrive system. And my next video after this one on the Feel Free Dorado is going to be the stability test. So if you guys are interested in that and you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Hit the little bell notification next to it. That way you're notified every time I upload another video about kayak fishing or kayak reviews, kayak gear reviews, that type of thing. Thank you guys again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.